Aaron Rodgers back on a one-year, $25 million deal. Well, it's around 22 to 23. It's in between, I think, that area with a few million in incentives and essentially looking like a 25-year, one-year deal. Honestly, I mean, it's May 16, a little earlier than maybe any of us expected. He's a little early. What's the impact? We're going to break it all down and more. It's good for DK. It's good for the offense. It's good for everybody. You know, it's McCarthy. Maybe we get more Aaron Rodgers. Maybe Aaron Rodgers is a really viable, not just an okay, viable Superflex quarterback, but maybe he's a very viable Superflex quarterback. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now. File on in.
Live from the TheFantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live!
Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
He's back, baby. He's back. Aaron Rodgers is back. 1 year, $25 million deal. DK Metcalf goes up in value. We already love DK Metcalf. We talked about how DK Metcalf was probably going to go in the 7-round territory for a majority of the offseason, and we've been enjoying the DK Metcalf value. Let me see if I can grab DK's graphic, put him right where he's been belonging. 7th round. I imagine the buzz around this situation makes him climb right into 6, really, really safely nestled right there. Probably not moving into round 7 much anymore. I could be wrong. We'll kind of see how the ADP plays out over the next handful of days. As these things usually go, as I've told you before, it's a couple waves of ADP updates over the course of about 4 or 5 days. The first night, there's a little reaction. And sometimes the second night, a little bit more. Third night, a little bit more. And then it starts to bounce around and level. The reason for that is you typically see people reach ahead of ADP only so much. And right now they're going to do that. And then once his ADP after the reaching happens, settles right where the reaching was, then people will reach a little more from the suggested rank until they stop reaching. And then that's where it levels out. I imagine that will be in round 6. But here's the truth. DK Metcalf and a Mike McCarthy offense with Aaron Rodgers back is still a win-a-league player, like a win-a-league player in mid-6 to late 6. And if for any reason we keep seeing him go at top of 7, let's say he goes from like mid-7 to top of 7, we're talking even more of a steal. This guy's your 7th drafted player, your wide receiver 3, sometimes your wide receiver 4, if you do some crazy heavy wide receiver build, has been literally a gift that kept on giving all offseason until May 16. And if you haven't taken advantage of it, A, shame on you. B, you haven't watched the show because we talk about it all the time. But I still firmly believe he's a fantastic value here. Now, do I like any of these other players? Bernard, do I like Pittman? I don't know. I think there's some value, maybe redraft, not as much dynasty, sure. And am I into the Jaylen Warren value? Not really. The only player that really tickles my fancy after DK Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers in Superflex would be this young man on the midseason monster board. You know who I'm talking about. His name starts with an R. His last name starts with a D. And I doubt you'll be doubting him anytime soon if he gets into this lineup and does some damage. So Rico Dowdle is a very nice grab. How far does he fall? Pretty damn far. He's practically free. But this is the only real midseason monster on that Steelers roster, even though I do like, some of the wide receiver talent, depending on where it would go, case by case, but not some sort of blanket statement. Love this room. It's DK. It's Dowdle. It's Aaron Rodgers in Superflex, maybe a second quarterback in a 12-man. I'm not opposed to that. Or best ball, Aaron Rodgers as your third quarterback is fantastic. So that's kind of the skinny on what we're talking about here. 1 year, $25 million deal. Dynasty, trade away Chuba Hubbard and Dowdle for Kyren. Yeah, 100%. And maybe you only get one more elite year out of Kyren. Maybe he doesn't even give you one elite year. Maybe he gives you 2. Not a real easy thing to determine. But I would take that gamble 100 times out of 100, even liking Rico. Rico's older. Rico's got no long-term dynasty appeal. His appeal on the midseason monster board is strictly a redraft relationship. Okay? There's sometimes we talk about dynasty value on this board, but it is going to be for the most part a redraft. I don't sit here and go, Kalen Black and Jordan James are just, dynasty monsters. I'm not saying that. This is a redraft board. There are some good dynasty players on here. Concepcion, I love in dynasty. Stowers, but the value of the board is contingent upon 2026 redraft. I don't think anybody's doubting that Monungai, Stowers, Concepcion, Coleman have good long-term value, but this is kind of a redraft look at things, and Dowdle's on that board. So, on that note, pretty much covered everything in a nutshell already that we want to cover on this show. We're going to open the phone lines. We will probably be back later tonight as well to draft. I don't think this is not the only show tonight. It's not how we roll. It's not how we function. Here's the phone number. Dial in if you want to talk Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, anything else that's on your mind. But specifically, if you can, ask a question or talk a little bit about this situation, since it is an Aaron Rodgers breaking news show.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
We got Landman in the building, Turbo in the building over on Rumble. Vader, appreciate you on the YouTube. Handfuls of you in here. But first in the door tonight was Vader, followed by Travis, followed by CDB. Appreciate you. Joey's in the building. Fitness, appreciate you. Fire, appreciate you. Fire being in the building. Joey, thank you, pal. Richard, hit me with your questions. Hit me with your best shot. Aaron Rodgers, from a production standpoint this year, if we look at his numbers from last year, let me see if I can pull up Aaron Rodgers' stat line. And so last year he had 3.322. Let's put this on this side of the board. So actually, let me rewrite this and put it in the corner. So his deal is a 1 year, roughly with incentives, $25 million. Okay, so $25 million 1 year deal. His projections, I would say, for this year, he had 3.322, 24 touchdowns, and 7 INTs. If I had to kind of predict an Aaron Rodgers stat line, and keep in mind, he played 16 games last year. That's pretty remarkable. He's played a lot of seasons that, he played at least 15 games. Despite having a couple of seasons where he missed time, I mean, he's been pretty good. I mean, listen to this right here. When he started playing football full time, 16, 15, 9, 16, 7, 16, 17, 1, 17, 16. It's pretty good. Everyone's like, oh, he's old, he's going to get hurt. I mean, I don't know. Previous year, 38-97, 28 touchdowns. Last year, 33-22, 24 touchdowns. I'm in 11 INTs the year prior, and then last year 7. I'm pretty much going to say the year prior to that, before the injury, when he played 17 games, 3,626 touchdowns. So he scored 26, 28, and 24 the last 3 years. I'm going to say pretty easily he's going to have 27 under McCarthy. 27 touchdowns. Interceptions, he's got 12, 11, 7. So let's give him 9. Yards have been the last 3 seasons, 36.95, 38.97, and 33.22. Give me 3,800 under McCarthy. So 3,800 yards, and it could be 4,000. We'll go 38 to 3,900 yards, 27 touchdowns, 9 INTs. Nothing to write home about, in a major way, I guess. But this is enough to feed DK Metcalf and give DK Metcalf 1,100 yards if he's feeling frisky, and you got McCarthy cooking up stuff for him. 70-something, 78 receptions. I mean, we'll put DK's up here. So DK, I'll put 70. Let's go to DK's line. And there's something nice about when you're doing projections like this. You're using an average of like the last like 2 or 3 years, and you try and go in between. And we're trying to find a floor. We're not trying to find a ceiling per se. We're acknowledging what the ceiling could be. DK, the last handful of years. Okay, let me read his entire career: 58 receptions, 83, 75, 90, 66, 66, and then 59. So I think under McCarthy, 70. Let's call it 71 receptions. Very understandable to be ahead of the norm recently because McCarthy's system will feed him. He's had his entire career, 900 yards, 1,300, 967, 1048, 1114, 992, 850. Again, I think he's going to be higher than the last 2 years. Let's call it 1090. 1090. Touchdowns have been 7, 10, 12, 6, 8, 5, 6. I'm going to give him 7. So this is a 1 year deal. DK Metcalf, 71, 1090, and 7. It could even be 6 to 7. Let's do this. 6 to 7 TDs. That's a really good year. That's a fantastic year. That's solid. 71, 1090, and 6 to 7 touchdowns. That's going to give you one of the higher end wide receiver 3s you could possibly find. These numbers easily support that. So I'm excited about this situation, what it does, the degrees of separation and the things that it can potentially do for the rushing attack if it does get going. Hopefully it's Dowdle at some point. Not really interested again in 2026 anyway in other wide receivers, but you're not crazy to like them. And I'm certainly not writing them off or calling anybody a bust. I'm just saying, am I going out of my way to grab Pittman or whatever? What's your take on Pittman? Good question. I don't know. Playing second fiddle, getting used to this situation, this offense, system, everything, doesn't always bode well for a lot of receivers anyway. I would say my expectations are low, really low. I'm just not owning him. I haven't drafted him one time. And I'm not telling you to avoid him, not calling him a bust. I'm more than indifferent though. I'm not going out of my way. And when I see him sitting there, I don't take him over and over and over. I continue to not grab him. Worldwide West says, Smitty, you know that intro that I have? Can you play it for me? Wes, appreciate your $20 super chat. Anybody that's ever dropped $200 on this show gets their own custom intro anytime they drop a $20 holler or above. That's what that is, if you're wondering. So this man had his intro handcrafted. On the fence about coming to Arizona for Scott Fishbowl. Mostly want to meet up with you and all the boys. Is the plan just to meet up once for the dinner? Well, so the Scott Fishbowl will be there, and then we'll probably all go, meet up, grab a bite, hang out there. I'm not sure if we'll do the 2 of those or whatnot. I can't really promise. I don't know. But definitely going to meet up one time before the Scott Fishbowl and then meet up at the Scott Fishbowl. So I don't know if it'll be before or after. Kind of as we get closer, we'll probably create like some sort of like, communication about it. Okay. But no pressure at all. We'd love to see you there, bro. It'd be fantastic. I have a couple of people just coming out to do they'll probably go into the event, and I don't know how they'll check whether you can go sit at the tables where we're at or not. I don't know if it'll be like a private room where someone will check, or if you can just come right in after. I don't know how it's going to work. But you could still be at the location, which they have games all over. It's David Buster's. It's like a, this arcade like and bar, sports bar. It's like, you ever seen Zips or, like a game center, like huge. I don't know if this says like bowling or anything like that, but it's like one of those big, monster arcade places where there's a bar and food and real good food and everything. It's not some dinky little place, it's a massive business. But that's where we'll be. I want to come, but hard to justify $600 flight, hotel. Yeah, I mean, bro, I understand. Like, I'm not asking you to do any of that if it's not up, worth it to you. I thought about like creating a league for the people that came out, but I don't even know. I don't know if we'll have 12 or not. I don't know how to work, and I don't even know if we'll have time to do that. But it'll be fun, but no pressure whatsoever, bro. Make sure it's like you taking a trip out here to take the family to Arizona or something, experience the sights, go to the Grand Canyon. Never been to the Grand Canyon. I've lived here my whole life. So tell me how it is if you go. I got to go someday. I got to go. Most people that live here have never been there. Grand Canyon is not like real close to this area, but it's certainly worth going in and checking out, I'm sure. Dynasty trade. Thank you, Wes. Appreciate you. And no pressure whatsoever, bro. Dynasty trade Henry, Barkley, Mike Evans, J-Mo, and Sanders for Bijan Robinson, Parker Washington, and Godwin. Jeez. I would say if this league's going to last a while, this will end up being worth it for you for sure. If the league could crumble, you could win now with that group. Barkley, Mike Evans, Henry, J-Mo. Chat, vote on this one. Is the correct answer, if the league lasts a while, you want Bijan? Like, if it's not going anywhere. If you're like, I don't even know if it'll last. I don't think it will crumble, but I don't know because I don't even know these guys. I would probably say win some cash money, my man, and just keep trying to win. Because Barkley could play 2 years. But if it's a dynasty that is going to stick around for even 3 years, 4 years, I'd smash the Bijan side. Because think about Parker Washington's not, like, he might outscore J-Mo and Evans. I don't think he will outscore Evans. I think Evans is going to go crazy. But Parker Washington might outscore one of those guys. So it's like Henry, Barkley for Bijan. You're doing that every time in the dynasty. But I just preface, because some people will say 100% do it no matter what. But if you're like the league shaky, then I'm not necessarily interested in getting rid of all that potential talent. But it also depends on your depth, bro. If like it's one of those leagues where you got surplus, 100% give up all of it without even hesitation, even if the league's going to close by mid-season. But that's if you're in a surplus mode. So thank you for the super chat, young man. Appreciate you very much. Wes, appreciate your super chat. Travis, you're on the line. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Loud and clear.
Yeah, so I see a lot of the, people asking about Pittman and people talking about Pittman, and he's going to be he's going to be awesome with Rodgers, because I don't know why they think Rodgers likes Pittman type wide receivers better than DK, which I don't necessarily agree with, but I just think it's a little, I caution against going all in on a Pittman. He's 28, he's got back issues, and he's never been elite. Like, I'm not saying he can't put up 700-800 yards if things are clicking, but I'm not sure I see him being like what I see the narrative out there as around him this year. I see a lot of people that are like very high on Pittman. It almost feels like they're trying to resurrect the fact that they used to love Pittman.
I haven't seen that person. I'm not saying that you're probably 100% right. I haven't seen a lot of Pittman fans. I've seen a lot of Pittman questions, but I'm not. So if you are seeing that, I'm shocked, and I believe it, because the Pittman truthers were like really hardcore back in the day, and it might be a revitalizing the feeling or rekindling nostalgia. But yeah, to even suggest like I wouldn't go all in, like I never even considered drafting him. So like, I can't imagine someone going like having that kind of mentality, going all in on Pittman. But man, just because I'm not seeing it, or just because I'm not seeing it doesn't mean it's not happening. So it's good to have a different perspective of what people are viewing him as. I like him. I just don't. I don't.
Yeah, he's solid.
Yeah, he's a solid player. But from a fantasy perspective, changing teams is really hard. Changing offenses specifically is what I'm referring to too, is that McCarthy, like, it could be good for him, but Bernard I like a little more, you know? So
Yeah.
give me if I'm taking a stab at one of the other receivers, give me the guy that I think is already, even before he takes a snap, better, like much better. So
he's never finished higher than wide receiver 13, and like I know DK hasn't finished really high either, but like you said, you're buying DK, you know, as a wide receiver 3 is what you're hoping for. A wide receiver 2 with upside, like, you know, I just wouldn't expect a ton out of Pittman. I think he can be a nice piece for the team, and maybe even like a better NFL player for the team than fantasy.
Well, let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of why I'm not drafting Pittman. Let me go to a draft right now that I'm currently got 10 minutes left before this time's out anyway. So I got to take a pick here. I'm in the 9th round. Michael Pittman, ironically, is the 2nd ranked wide receiver in this draft that I just got. It's crazy. So Matthew Golden above him. You guys know I'm not a big Matthew Golden fan. Like I'm smashing Matthew Golden at what is this? What pick is this? 9.6 all day long over Michael Pittman Jr. all day. Like that makes Matthew Golden 8 feet tall. Xavier Worthy's right below Michael Pittman. Give me Worthy every time. I think he's very underrated. Romeo Doubs below that. Give me Romeo Doubs. Wan'Dale Robinson, even more so. Give me him than Romeo Doubs. And I like Jalen Coker's like 5 or 6 wide receiver spots down from there. Omar Cooper Jr., 2 or 3 spots down there. Travis Hunter, about 10, 15 spots below Michael Pittman. Keep going. Jalen Naylor is the starting wide receiver, number 1 wide receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders. Give me him. Antonio Williams, give me that rookie wide receiver. That might be the number 2 for JD5. You know, like it just Deebo Samuel, not on a team. Ayuk, not on a well, he's on the Niners, but not on a team essentially, but will be a commander. All like we're talking about, I think 15 wide receiver spots down now. So there's a 0% chance I am drafting Michael Pittman Jr. unless I time out, hit my head, wake up, and I have him auto-selected. And even then, I'll be disappointed in myself that I didn't take him out of my rankings and save him or whatever. But point is, this is like the argument of Devontae Smith last night that was just head-scratching to me. It always is. Like, Devontae Smith, people come in and say, like, you know, Smitty, you should be hiring him. He's going to ball out. Okay, well, will you draft him at his ADP? Well, what's his ADP? 3rd round and redraft, maybe late second round, like, or 3.1, 3.2, 3.3 in Dynasty. Oh, well, no, I won't take him there. So then how do you like him? How do you like Devontae Smith if you won't take him at his ADP? It makes me just, it's such an asinine argument. So like Michael Pittman Jr., how are you going to ever draft Michael Pittman Jr.? Ever. When all those receivers I listed, those were spread out in 15, 20 wide receiver spots down. Antonio Williams is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 picks away from Michael Pittman in the wide receiver column alone. Jalen Coker's like 10 or 11 down. Diggs is 14 wide receiver spots down. Hunter, there's 0 room to be taking. You know what? I don't have a lot of Matthew Golden at all. I'm going to take him right here in this particular pick. Normally I go Hunter or Coker or one of those guys, but I don't have any Golden shares. I'm going to take him right there. There you go. Now you know I'm not a Golden hater, but I'm certainly not all in on Golden at all either. See me, thank you. That hit changed that man. I don't know if you guys are talking about, it sounds like you're talking about AB or something. And then FDX says, just join the website. He's talking about TheFantasyFootballShow.com, which I've been working tirelessly on. I just created the best, in my opinion, strength of schedule calculator. And then all of the data that comes off of it is spread out throughout the site on all the player pages inside the lineup calculator. So it's living and infecting all of the content, you know, the strength of schedule tool. So it's all over, but he's talking about that. And he also said, what did he just say on that in regards to that? He said, excited. Can't wait to just join the website. It is fire. Can't wait to dive deeper into the tools of the season, bro. The tools are crazy. The trade calculator is insane. The draft simulator is, You've never seen anything like it. Entering keepers, Superflex Dynasty, draft simulation, redraft, draft simulation, Superflex, Dynasty keeper. You can enter in all the keepers. You could enter in 45 keepers into specific draft slots, then hit draft, and it'll plug them all in. Or you can just do a keeper league, like a general keeper, where you take 15 guys out of the draft pool because everybody keeps somebody, but they don't necessarily put them in a round. I've got everything thought of, and the player pages are crazy. So go check it out, TheFantasyFootballShow.com. Travis, DK Metcalf. My projection is 71 catches, 1090, and 6 to 7 touchdowns. Not a ceiling, but like just a very, I think, good ballpark guess with upside for more. Off on these numbers, you think, or do you have them around that territory? What?
No, I think that's probably right on the nose for about like what to expect. You know, like I said before, up until last year, every single season he had averaged 900. He had at least 900 yards, and I think it was minimum of 6 touchdowns. So, you know, and he's been in, you know, those off and on situations. And last year was, you know, new system, new quarterback. So he's gonna be more comfortable this year, and I think he should be in line for, you know, at least 1,000, if not, you know, 11 or 1,200. And I think that's a good baseline. I think he could end up with, you know, more touchdowns. He's always a threat for double-digit touchdowns, you know. So
people don't think of him as a double-digit touchdown guy because his last like 3 years, but he had hit double-digit touchdowns back-to-back before he went on his like downturn. Right. But his downturn to me isn't he dropped off. It's just his situations have been pretty bad. So
Gino regressed, JSN got better,
right,
and then he switched teams.
Right.
You know.
So I think you're probably going to see DK Metcalf with McCarthy being the number one, and given Aaron Rodgers likes to go, screw it, he's over there somewhere, especially when McCarthy's, you know, cooking it up, that I think you're going to get a lot of DK jump balls. And this guy's still very talented, super quick. McCarthy will exploit all that. And I think the 71, 1090, and 6 to 7 is a very safe number. I think that if you go into a draft going running back, or hero RB, this is your friend right here. And we even cooked it up here the other day where we said if you went like, let's say, 0 wide receiver through round number 4 or round number 3, let's see, went running back, Josh Allen or whatever. So let's just do that real quickly. So let me just throw Gibbs on here. Let's say you go Gibbs, Love, and you take Love right here. And let's just say you took Josh Allen. It's not for everybody. I love drafting Josh Allen in the 3.1 all the time because it's apples to apples. Don't even get me started. So if you let's say go wide receiver here, you're talking about Buka maybe falling to this territory, right? You're talking about I don't know what other wide receiver would make sense for this 4th round argument. Olave could be there. But let's say Buka was your guy, and you're probably can you get Buka at the end of 4, you think?
Maybe in some drafts. I mean, well, what's his ADP now? It's 39. Yeah, before the draft he was going.
Let's do a different example so we don't get people like checking out on this example and that can't happen. So I'm not gonna. Let me put.
Mike Evans is at 45.
Okay, you know what? Okay, first of all, let me just say if you were
Terry McLaurin,
if you were to do something along the lines of like, let's say you got Walker and JT and Allen or something, and then you're able to get Buka right in this territory. But I also love the Mike Evans idea in the 4th round. That probably is the best wide receiver, like low end wide receiver 1 you can get still in round 4. But this is the kind of wide receiver room you want to build. And even if we said this is early, I don't know that you need to take BTJ in 5. But let's just say we have the middle of of all these rounds. This is the kind of wide receiver room that can carry you and you'll be fine. Is Buka, BTJ, Metcalf, and then put Mike Evans here instead, just because I do actually like that a little bit more, or not a little bit more. I like the idea of getting Evans more. I mean, this is gonna land. You can count on this more. I mean, because sometimes Buka's got to go in round 3, but this would be a really, really good play right here. And even if you don't go, let's say you just want to talk about DK Metcalf, and let's take out BTJ. Let's put in who's the 5th round quarterback we're seeing across the board. Burrow, sometimes goes a lot later, but
yeah,
let's
Burrow. Well, Burrow's going in top of the 6th right now.
Yeah, let's just put him at 5 because Grandma Leagues he's going a little higher.
Burrow and Lamar.
I always get people saying Burrow's not falling to round 6. Well, then, yeah, you might draft in a league where people take quarterbacks early and it's not the norm. So let's just put him 5. Even if you were to go, let's say, Josh Allen, JSN in round 1. Let's do this. And, you're doing something like this, whatever. This is still, like, it doesn't even matter where you have DK. It doesn't matter. DK, this is such a good wide receiver room. JSN, Mike Evans, DK. If you go lighter at wide receiver, he's just such a savior. It makes any wide receiver room feel, okay, you caught back up. Right. You got a guy that, okay, no one thinks he's a wide receiver 1. But could he be? Could he be 12? He could be. He probably won't be.
Yes, he could.
You don't count on it. Act like that idea doesn't exist. But when you draft him, part of you is going, I wonder what this could be. I wonder if this is a 10 touchdown, 1,100 yard, 82 reception wide receiver, which would be like 12, 13, 11, 14, depending on the year. I guess a good receiver. Like DK's got a lot of value. And this is all to say if he climbs in round 6. DK's been going in 7 like clockwork. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers coming back makes people move on him or if they already say I already expected it. I would imagine he'll move. But we'll see.
Yeah, because he fits into any wide receiver build, really, however you're doing it. Whether he's your wide receiver, 2 or your wide receiver 4, you can make it work in that fashion. And the big point is you used to have to draft him as like a low-end 1, high-end 2. Now you can draft him, where wide receiver 3s are going, and you can kind of float in that area.
Yeah.
The value's there. I was going to ask you, how do you think that the division's going to play out? It'll be a tough division depending on how these teams shake out.
What division are we talking about? What are we on? Sorry, I was checking that.
Pittsburgh, AFC North.
Oh, you talking about the entire division? Okay.
Yeah. Just how do you think the division's going to
Sorry,
play out?
I was checking a tweet. I was seeing if we had any more breaking news. I saw an alert come in and I was just checking it out. I have nothing changes for me because of this, but the Bengals, the Ravens, and then the Steelers, and then the Browns. I don't think the Steelers can make the playoffs. I mean, that would be my guess.
What I'm kind of thinking too.
Unless some collapse happens with Lamar or Burrow or something, because there's no way the Steelers are taking a wild card spot away from. For craps and giggles, Buffalo, KC, Bengals, and Jaguars win the divisions. Just substitute out Denver for whatever. Yeah. We have New England, Chargers, Baltimore Ravens, Broncos. Some might say the Texans. I don't. Some might say the Colts if they, there's no way Pittsburgh's beat.
But there's just so many. There's so many teams that are going to be in it.
Yeah, they're not. This will be a goodbye to Rod. Week 17.
And according to Angry Bruce, the Cleveland will win the division. So they'll be in it too.
Yeah, Cleveland's not winning the division.
Do think you're a couple years away.
Bruce, I hate that. Bruce always loves whatever I say pretty much, and I love that about Bruce, Angry Bruce, but I'm sure he doesn't. He probably turns off his ears whenever I talk about the Browns, and this board right here is going to piss him off. But other than that, he tends to not get too upset over that stuff. But yeah, I think, Angry Bruce, look, you got to be honest with yourself. Like, do you have the makings of a team that could turn it around a couple years from now? Maybe. Yeah. I mean, good draft in a sense. If Judkins can stay healthy and put it all together, we'll see. And then if they believe in Shador or they're waiting for their quarterback of the future. Angry Bruce, down deep that if the Browns crap the bed, the first thing you're going to do is go, we're getting a quarterback. It's going to turn around. And that's kind of what you want. I mean, I like Shador. I do. But do you want one of the top two quarterbacks in this, maybe even three, in this upcoming draft? Yes, you do. As much as I like Shador, it is what it is. I loved Algier when he was a rookie. We were huge on Algier's rookie year, and then Bijan landed on the roster and was like, it was nice knowing you, Algier, but you're not Bijan. Like, I like Shador. I'm rooting for Shador. I hope he gets traded somewhere else, and maybe he will if they end up drafting somebody. But you want a difference-making quarterback. You're not doing anything until you get that. Nothing. You're just trying to tread water until you get that quarterback. That's it. That's what you're hoping for. You're hoping for the worst possible season you could ever have. Angry Bruce, I know you're calling in. I don't know if this is hitting a nerve or if you agree. You're live. Keep it clean.
I agree with you. I mean, I'm not trying to be a homer, but I'll say this. New coach, new offensive line. It's a new year. Anything's possible. Anything is possible.
Anything's possible. It certainly is. but this isn't.
Browns fans gotta have that.
Anything's possible, but this. but you look, Angry Bruce, this is like when someone gives you bad. They give you like advice you don't want. Like I remember when I was doing my front yard and I had a fence that I made. It's really trashy after you look at it. But the guy that came to do the yard, professional, came to put the turf in and everything. And I was looking at the fence. I'm like, you think we should keep it? And he goes, no. He goes, no. He's like, it's cool that you built it and like it's straight and everything, but no, bro. And I was like, and I remember it hurt hurt my feelings a little bit. I was like, I built that thing and everything. And I look back on it on photos and I like almost like gag. And I'm just like, my yard was done by a professional. I stayed out of it. And that's why it looks so good to your own eyes, And it's like, I'm telling you, Bruce, you have an ugly fence. And as much as I love,
I'll say this: we've always had an ugly fence around Cleveland.
Yeah,
I'll give you that. We've always had an ugly fence. But once again, new coach, new offensive line, and the coach, dude, he cries, he cusses. Man, dude, he's a winner.
All right.
Todd Monken, I'll say this: Casey Concepcion. That's your top rookie.
He's good, bro.
Oh, he's going to be, dude. They're going to smash him. That if you playing Madden, you smashing the X button on him all day, bro.
Do it live. All right, gotta go, Angry Bruce. Appreciate you. He might as well, end it on a good note. But yeah, he has got an ugly fence over there in Cleveland. Like, it's best to just say, you know what, we need to go get a quarterback. As much as I love Shador, he's also set up for failure there. He isn't, I want him to get out and go somewhere else because I think it's going to take a better quarterback than Shador, even though I like him, to overcome what is still likely to be struggles for the incoming quarterback. You need someone that's like above others. You need that, like Joe Burrow going to Cincinnati. You need a Joe Burrow to go to that situation, to be the guy that can take on a little more and carry people up. And Shador, I love him, but he's probably not good enough to do that. So you need Arch Manning type of talent. What were you going to say, Travis? Then I'll go over to Purple John.
I was just going to say, like, we know Monken likes him, and I think Monken, you know, if he had his druthers, he'd probably start him and get rid of Watson. But because of the money, they're going to throw Watson out there and see if they can salvage anything, probably. But Monken also, you know, isn't saying he loves Shedeur as, like, the starter. You might look at him and go, oh, he's going to be a really good backup for you.
Shedeur
He can be a bridge quarterback till I get my guy.
Shedeur needs to go somewhere like,
you know, Shedeur might surprise too.
he needs to go somewhere like Minnesota, you know, where he can get, you know, get a system that yeah, or hold on, let me get Rock out in here. All right, Rock out, mute yourself, I'll be right with you. Like Shedeur needs to go somewhere where Baker, Sam Darnold, Kirk Cousins, you know, Minnesota, and then Seattle with Kubiak, like somewhere where you can prop him up, and then he can get better inside that world for sure. But you probably just can't have him say, hey, carry Cleveland on your back. It's been set up to fail for so long. It's going to be a bumpy road. You need Arch. You need somebody that's on that top, could be a top, like 7 to 8 quarterback in some people's eyes, a lot of people's eyes, to get through the first year or two of what Cleveland set in its own way. Let me go over to love the new calculator, says Bruce. Thank you, pal. Purple John.
Shedeur would be good in the Niners. Over at the Niners, if Mac Jones leaves next year.
Yeah, Shedeur could be good in San Francisco as a system guy. What's up, Purple John?
Hey, I had a question about Dynasty. With more teams going to 13 personnel, which is 3 tight ends and 1 wide receiver and whatnot, would you condone taking some of these later RBs, Coleman, Emmett Johnson, Katron Allen, ahead of both the tight ends this year?
A case by case, you know, situation. I think, you know,
like, would you be taking those guys over both Zeke and the other one, knowing that they're in kind of questionable spots? One of them's not going to do much this year.
I mean,
because of Goddard, and then the other one,
I take
horrible.
I take Jonah Coleman no matter what over the tight ends, like no matter what. Like, but case by case in terms of like how far we get down, where we're like, okay, what's your team look like? You know, the 13 personnel, 12 personnel, 11 like teams running different things. The NFL evolves quickly. It evolves fast, and there's a chance that, you know, what we think is going to be the NFL today is not the NFL, you know, tomorrow. And I think that you just got to draft players you think are going to get in the lineup. Just because teams run more 13 personnel doesn't mean that Caleb Johnson's going to be a starter in the National Football League for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so it didn't matter. Even if Caleb was in this draft, I'm not drafting running backs just to draft running backs. I'm drafting the running backs that I think can rise up no matter what. So Jonah Coleman fits that bill to a T. He is one of my favorite drafted players. I think, you know, even Kalen Black and Jordan James, I'm really liking that combination. You know, when I'm not saying draft Kalen Black over those tight ends, but I'm just merely like pointing out that there's certain running backs I like that I'll get later, and then I can still go with one of the early tight ends. I think Stowers is fantastic, and running multiple tight end sets even bodes well for why Stowers will get on the field even with Goddard doing well. So it kind of goes against what you're saying and with what you're saying at the same time. Running more tight end sets, 12 and 13 personnel, puts Stowers on the field.
Would you be okay with taking Kalen Black? Like, I know he goes like in the 4th and whatnot, but would you be okay with taking him in the 2nd?
Sure,
ahead of all
absolutely.
These, like, so wide receivers, and would you be willing to take Jonah Coleman at the 106?
Absolutely.
Ahead of Omar?
100%.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, don't worry about ADP. Yeah, later.
Shout out Travis.
Later. I don't know anybody that hangs up on himself faster than John.
And he's gone.
He's got, like, he hangs up. And a lot of times he'll be like, hey, I got to go, so this got to be quick. I'm like, don't let me keep you, John. ADP means nothing to me once you get past, like, probably 1.8, honestly. When we did our early mock draft and people were like, when I drafted players at 110, they're like, he goes at 2.5. Like, is anybody watching this show? This guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's taking, what are we doing here? He's taking a 2.5 mid-second round player at 1.11. Like, what is he doing? I could give 2 craps about your grandma's ADP. I'm going to take the player I want. Once you get past the locked in ADPs, like, you're taking Jadarian Price, and you're probably taking Lemon at a certain place. Like I'm taking him a couple picks after the average person, but I understand what time it is. I understand the trade value in Lemon. But once the players are off the board, I'm not trading down. I'm not risking the biscuit and trying to move from 1.11 to 2.4. I'm taking Jonah Coleman all day long. And Casey Concepcion, I'll take in front of Lemon. I don't care what anybody says. Angry Bruce is going to like that one. Casey Concepcion's better than Lemon.
BBQ.
He's better than Lemon. He's better than Lemon. BBQ, 10 gifted memberships. I smell meatloaf. Hey, Ma, the meatloaf. And honestly, I like John. I would take Brazel rounds. Like I don't even know what his ADP is. I don't care. Like I'm taking him at the 2-1, 2-2, 2-3 all day long. I'm taking Brazel, Malachi Fields. I'm not letting any of those guys fall.
Yeah, I think I think you're going to see, like, if you were to take 100 rookie drafts, the second and third round is going to look so different in every one of them this year. Because, some people will follow quote-unquote ADP, but I think you're going to find, people that are smart are taking who they want, taking people who's best for their team. Because, guys like you said, Brazel, Fields, maybe Ted Hurst, like I'm taking them over. A lot of different guys that are probably ahead of them. Maybe.
Does anybody know when Rousey gets on? Is up? Like how many fights more we have? Is anybody watching that on Netflix? The Rousey fights on Netflix. By the way, I don't think you need any sort of pay-per-view whatsoever, right? So I just pulled it up.
Oh, I think it's Netflix.
Yes, Netflix. Is it like 9 p.m.? Is it later than that? That the main card goes. Does anybody know?
I don't know.
Anybody watching it right that knows how many fights away we are?
That's watching.
We're like 3 fights away before the main card. That's probably like hour and a half or more. Just here to support the show and community, says BBQ. Well, BBQ, what do you mean? What's that mean? You're just here to show support. Like you're not here for the football? Like I hope you are too. BBQ's the man.
I think because someone said BBQ on its way to 100,000 gifted subs, and then I just said I wish YouTube would show how many people had given.
Yeah, they should have an all-time leaderboard, a weekly leaderboard. They should have all that. Thoughts on Freiermuth with Joe? Oh, it's a $20 hauler from Blitzen. Blitzen, appreciate you dropping the first ever $20 hauler we've ever had on Freiermuth, ever. This is amazing. And Jonu Smith. Thoughts on Freiermuth with Jonu Smith gone? Thank you, Blitzen. Appreciate your support, bro. BBQ, appreciate you. You're the man, the myth, legend, bro. Freiermuth. I don't know, Travis. Am I off base by not being excited at all about Freiermuth? I mean, Aaron Rodgers does love throwing to the tight end, but is he even like? Are we?
I'm not. Maybe like a tight end too. I don't think you can expect him to be a top 10 or 12 tight end this year, really. But there's opportunity. We know he likes veterans. We know he likes tight ends. So I kind of see it like Pittman, where I think he's gonna have a decent year in terms of like NFL on the field. He'll be good for the team. The offense. Like I really like McCarthy for the offense. I hate McCarthy for like the rebuilding long term, anything like that. And I think they're kind of, going to be good, but not great. So if I was a Steelers fan, like, I don't know, I'd be kind of excited, but also wouldn't feel like we're winning anything.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with all that. And BBQ, I only said that if you're wondering why I said what I said, why I said it when I was like, what are you here? You aren't here for the football. I just mean like, I just don't know if you like retired from football the way you worded that. Like, just here to support the show. Don't watch football anymore. Wait a minute. BBQ, what do you mean? Like that's kind of like when the whole house goes to bed and you're the last person up. You're like, you're just a little disappointed. Like BBQ, you better be here for the football too. Appreciate you. Says Fryer Truck. is hard to trust. Friar Tuck is hard to trust after they added all the new pieces. Yeah, I think that's kind of what Travis is saying too. Like good football and not a lot of production.
Yeah.
I agree with both of you. I'm not.
They have Darnell Washington there too, who's a big red zone target. He doesn't do a ton in between the 20s, but he catches 4 or 5 touchdowns a year.
Friermuth is disappointing.
I don't know how much there is to go around.
He had a little bit more upside. He never came to fruition. But I remember I was sitting. I remember so well. I was sitting in this chair right here. I have a chair over here. I've moved the chair since, but it's back to where it was. But I was sitting in that chair, and I pulled the mic over there, and I tried to do a graveyard show from the corner of my studio. I was trying to do different things, like the graveyard shows would be over there. And I remember somebody answering the Q&A, and somebody said, "What do you think of Friermuth?" And I go, "Friermuth? I think Friermuth? I don't think anything of Friar. Like, who cares about Friermuth?" This is the very beginning when he was kind of like coming up and coming, like nothing yet. And then I remember the next, like, or that off season or whatever, I'm like, remember the guy we roasted? Like, Friermuth's looking good. Like, I remember I even said, like, I'll take a lap on that one, Friermuth. I'm starting to get excited. And then he just did exactly what, he ended up never really, looking good and coming to fruition. But
yeah, I think let's see. So his rookie year, he had 7 touchdowns, and then he had 700 yards the second year, dropped to 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, just never.
And it's like
he's not that impressive.
Yeah, he just never puts it all together.
Yeah,
but you can see what McCarthy is trying to do. I mean, he brought in. There's DK Metcalf is 6'4", Pittman is 6'4". They have Friermuth and Washington, who are huge guys. Then they bring in guys like A.T. Perry and Ben Skowronek, who are both like 6'3", 6'4". They're giving Rodgers a ton of big bodies to throw to, and bring Dowdle, who's a bigger back.
Yeah.
McCarthy, they're going to play big physical football. That's what they're trying to do. Steelers fans will love that, but I don't know how far it can go. I mean, they might surprise, but it's just they're in a tough spot. They're going to need Cincinnati or the Ravens to really crop the bed, I think.
Yeah. Hey, anybody know how many? Does anybody watching the fight right now, the event, how many fights we are until the Rousey fight? If someone even knows the answer to that, let me know. Thoughts on Friar? Okay, thank you for that one. Blitzen, if you got another follow up on that, let me know. Appreciate you dropping that, bro. And then Angry Bruce says, I've been following Smitty before the Skywalker video. He led me to my first and second round best ball tournament. Appreciate you, Bruce. You're the man. BMO says, broke the seal on the best ball today. Feels real now. Let it rip. I mean, bro, best ball is here. It's been here, but it is here. And the advantageous, drafting that we do right now before these players climb is I believe more advantageous than later on, knowing all the injuries. And like everyone, a lot of very experienced best ball drafters too will tell you, I draft more of mine when I get into September and I know what's what, and who's starting. I tend to say my best drafts reflecting on it too, looking at it, and I know that because I rename them. You can hit a pencil if you click the info button, you can hit the pencil and rename the draft. I rename them, date them. Sometimes I put different emojis. And I know based on some of this stuff where my big boards always do so much better than a lot of the later season smaller tournaments. I always have like 4, 5, 6, 10 big boards, go into the playoffs, 20 big board, whatever. And it's because of the advantages. The DK Metcalf example, like you're not getting this DK Metcalf advantage in August. We've been getting DK, and this is even like a fictitious story right now that he's going to go to 6 because he's currently in 7, and you're just not getting all that. Joe Burrow in 6 right now. Best ball. Mike Evans here. Like none of these things a lot of these things I should say are not going to be available to you. They're just not. Whoops, wrong button. I'm sorry. Darrell Henderson in 2000. Remember how hyped you on Darrell Henderson in 2000? Yeah. Yeah.
They had that was with. I was just looking up. They had 2020 was Henderson's second year. It was Akers, Henderson, and Malcolm Brown.
Yeah.
They had like those three guys, and it was trying to figure out.
I'll give you more. I'll give you more guys that never developed that I was super high on. N'Keal Harry, and I'm not just because an ASU guy. Like I'm anti liking players because they go to colleges I go to or whatever, or Arizona Cardinal players. Like I'm in this next one, Beanie Wells. It just happened to be. I was super high on Beanie Wells, super high on Kajana Carter, super high on Trent Richardson. Believe it or not, and look, Trent Richardson as much as he's a joke to a lot of people, like he's like a historical bust. You know, even when he left the league and he played for what was it? Was it the what league was it that he was dominating? There was two of them, and I forget what, but he was like the best player in the entire. What was the league called then?
Was it like the UFL?
Yeah, I don't know if they named it something else at that time, but
Arena.
I don't know. But he was he was the best running back. Like he would. There's so much talent there, but another running back or another couple players that busted that I loved. Charles Rodgers, the Detroit wide receiver that kept breaking his collarbone over and over. Darrell Henderson, loved Darrell Henderson a ton. And if I had to say like another couple players that like totally busted that thought would be amazing, I would say Lee Suggs. I was so high on Lee Suggs, the Cleveland Brown. Angry Bruce loved Lee Suggs, and he had the narrowing of the spinal cord, and he had to retire. I love Lee Suggs, bro. Lee Suggs, I thought was going to be like Priest Holmes, like the way he was setting up to be.
I loved. You could see he wasn't going to last long, and he actually was good for I think 1 or 2 years. Eddie Lacy, he was a monster for I think it was 1 year in fantasy, and he just ate himself out of the league.
But Trent
Richardson was fun because he fooled everyone because it was his rookie year. He was like a top 5 or 6 running back or something. He had 950 with 11 touchdowns, but in 360 receiving yards, 51 receptions, but it was only 3.6 per carry.
Yeah.
And then what was it? Did the Colts give up the 3rd overall pick for him? Was it?
I forget what it was, but I just know that there was talent there because he ended up dominating everywhere he went outside the NFL. Like he was like the top. Like he was always super good. But yeah, when he got in the NFL, it just didn't hit. Smitty is super clutch with the waivers. Thank you. Thank you, Burke. Well, we'll be back to draft later tonight.
Yeah, I think you got one more super chat there.
Mr. Zib says, thank you, pal. Would you prefer in Dynasty Bucky or BTJ Bucky? How close is it? Probably like a couple rounds apart in ADP, bro. At least a round and a half, I'd say. And you just got to cuff Bucky, though, you know? There's a lot of doubt around Bucky right now just because of one report that didn't even tell any information. It just said he had not yet been cleared. He hasn't been cleared. Why would you clear him right now? Why would you need to clear him right now? For like rookie camp and no one's even, everyone's in shorts for how much longer? Like why do we need him to be cleared to take hits right now? Wouldn't you just say, let's not clear and make sure we're giving this thing as long as possible, and then when he actually needs to be on the field to take hits, we'll clear him then. But for now, just keep doing what you're doing. Let's keep this thing as healthy as possible. Keep rehabbing. ETN rehabbed his injury, his foot injury, as much as during the whole year that he played on it after his surgery. ETN did not let up on his rehab at all. He kept rehabbing to make sure his foot issue never came back. Rehabbing, not taking hits in May, that's all normal par for the course stuff. If something comes up, it's not out there now. It'll be new information. And, if there is some sort of issue later, it's not known now. It's just people like to say, he's not cleared. Why? It's May. Why isn't he taking hits in May? Because no one's taking hits in May.
So it was Richardson played for he played in the CFL and he played for the Alliance of American Football and led the league with 12 touchdowns in one season.
He looked really good.
But last thing I was going to ask you was just Jeremy Bernard. What do you think his ceiling is if he becomes?
Because he
can be the slot guy this year.
He could, but because he's a rookie and Aaron Rodgers has problems with rookies, he just doesn't care about them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure. It's not like Christian Watson's day where Aaron Rodgers had all young wide receivers and had no choice.
Right.
But if you remember, Aaron Rodgers hates mistakes. He's really hard on rookies. And usually what will happen is Aaron Rodgers will say, "What are you doing? You get off the field," and then they replace him or whatever, or the player's not learning as much. Christian Watson was not going anywhere. So it was like him and Aaron Rodgers would have beefs. They yell at each other. By the end of the year, they were on just total par, on the same page, and they would laugh about stuff, and they know what each other needed. And, he'd go one way and Aaron Rodgers would throw it the other way, and they laugh about it and be like, "Oh man, I knew he was going to," it was a beautiful thing to watch Aaron Rodgers finally mold and sculpt a young wide receiver like Christian Watson. But I don't know that you're going to see that with Pittman and with DK. But we'll see. I mean, it's up to McCarthy too, not just Aaron Rodgers. So maybe Bernard does get out there. I'll tell you this though: if Bernard does get on the field and stay on the field and become the slot wide receiver, or just be out there anytime they're running 3 wide receiver sets, I'll tell you this: I think Jeremy Bernard is going to flash signs of what's to come. He's a really good player. He could easily be this team's poor man's number 1 later, and then if they replace him or whatever. But I like Jeremy a lot.
I like him. Yeah. Second round pick, you think, if you like him in a rookie league?
Yeah, sure. But I'm taking Malachi Fields and Brazel and like Claiborne. I might even still take a shot on a running back like Claiborne before I take a Bernard, even though I like Bernard. But Claiborne has got home run potential. So
yeah, so he may fall to the third in some rookie drafts, actually.
Sure.
Add it all up.
For sure. All right, we'll be back at midnight-ish or whatever.
Yep.
All right, later.
Thanks, Smitty.
Oh, rock out. You're still there? Gosh, dang it. Rock out, I'm sorry. Speak up. No problem interrupting me. What's up, Rock out?
Can I give you my DK team I did yesterday?
Sure.
All right, I got Prescott, Stroud, Tua, running back Gibbs, Love, Dowdle, Joel Coleman, Singleton, Black, wide receiver Collins, Evans, Moore, DK, KC, Antoine Williams, Surratt, Kraft, and Chig.
Nice job. Rock out. What's your favorite first, second, and third round pick right now so far in best ball? I'll tell you mine. Mine is Gibbs, obviously, but if I can't get Gibbs, I'll give you a second one. I will say my second favorite pick, probably. Okay, I'll give you a top. Give me a top and bottom of each round. So I'd say top of round 1, Gibbs, and then mid to late round 1, my next favorite player would be. Let me pull up the ADP. I would probably say is gonna be. I think it's like JJ, like just taking him at that 12, 13, 11 territory. Also, I'd say favorite second round player at the top would be Genty or Achan. Mid would be Walker. Late would be Rice. And Bowers is at 22. He keeps falling. He's at 22. He's almost at the turn. Jeremiah Love at the 2-3 turn. Who are your favorite picks this year in the first 3 rounds?
I like Gibbs, like JSN, let's see, Jefferson, Rice, Love, Achan, and London.
Favorite third round player? I mean, God, how can you not like McBride, who's a 3.1 now?
Right.
Dang. Pickens 25 overall, Nico 26. Josh Allen, 30's still amazing value. And then it kind of dries out. Like after ETN at 31, Josh Allen at 30, it goes, and I like Olave. I like Olave a little later, but it goes Devontae Smith, Olave, Kyron, Tet, T. Higgins, Javonte, Garrett Wilson, Flowers. I just don't love that stretch. Like as my third drafted player, I don't want Ted as my third drafted player. I don't want Higgins as my third drafted player, and I like Higgins, but I don't want him. I don't even want Kyron as my third drafted player.
My favorite fifth round when I was getting him was Evans in the fifth until he went up.
Yeah. All right, my boy. I'll see you at midnight.
But when it comes to the Patriots, what do you think Dobbs going to do when AJ goes there potentially?
Drops in value a little bit because we're envisioning Dobbs, taking that next step or whatever. But I don't know if he deserves to drop too much. I think he definitely never should have been someone's high end wide receiver 3. But could he be your 4 or 5? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dobbs is good, man. Dobbs could be like that guy that somehow, some way, they produce 2,000-yard receivers there.
Possibly.
All right, man. I'll see you in a little bit.
All right, cool.
Later.
See you.
All right, we're out of here, guys. Appreciate you. I don't know who's watching the Rousey fight, but it is going to be here soon. Let me put it back on live streaming here. All right, see you all in a little bit. Appreciate every single one of you. Don't forget, we're live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, live whenever big news breaks. I will see you all at midnight Eastern. And don't forget to draft tonight. We're, again, drafting pretty much every midnight. Underdog promo code Smitty. Link is in the description of the video. I'm going to drop the link right now in the live chat. And then I'm going to pin said link. The link that's currently pinned, actually, I'm just going to leave the link right there. It says draft on Underdog using code Smitty or this link. Link's in the description if you're watching the replay. Underdog will match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000 in bonus credit. But the link that's pinned to TheFantasyFootballShow.com for the intense, crazy strength of schedule calculator that I have in lineup calculator, weekly lineup and season. It's really a season calculator too, in a sense, for the schedule. All of the schedule data will update as each week plays along too. It'll progressively start shaping. And so the schedule is going to be amazing. And my schedule looks different than other people's strength of schedule. There's people that say the Cardinals have the worst schedule. The Cardinals have one of the worst schedules. They're in the bottom maybe 6 or 7, but it's not last. Just because they're the underdogs in every matchup, from a statistical perspective, they're still not at the bottom 5. They're in the 6-7 range. I wish Love had a better rushing schedule, but he's a multifaceted player that's going to be doing everything. So it doesn't scare me a bit. Thank you, Prime. Appreciate the kind words. And I think I got everything answered, all the Rumble rants, everything. See you guys at midnight Eastern. Appreciate every single one of you. Get on over to TheFantasyFootballShow.com. Get on over to all the sponsors you see on the screen here. I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. I'm live at midnight Eastern almost every single night. I'm live almost every time there's big breaking news. See you at midnight. Get signed up on Underdog. Don't be late.